Time now for the Newsmaker Show. A look behind the headlines with host Kevin Doran.
We have President Edward Coll of Alva University. Wow, you could go back. Do you teach, by the way?
No, not any longer, no.
You did at one time.
Did at one time, that's right.
What, as we say, what did you teach?
What did I teach? Well, I taught university administration and also marketing.
Well, that wouldn't be reasonable.
Graduate level programs while I was down at Miami. It was a wonderful experience, but I think I'm probably doing what I'm best suited for, staying out of the classroom.
Now, you have indicated to us that you'd be willing to talk about, and I'm very glad because our friend Savo is on vacation. I haven't been able to get a hold of Dr. Robano lately. You explained the flat tax. Everyone is confused about it, and I'm sure you've studied
Well,
the
they're trying to
situation.
simplify it. The Steve Forbes proposal, as a part of his candidacy, suggests that there would be a 17% flat tax on what he refers to as the traditionally earned income, wages as an example. And everybody would pay the flat tax so that you literally could put your income tax statement on the back of a postcard and mail it in every year. The only deductions that would be allowed would be the personal deductions, the same as you have now for your own individual deductions, spousal deductions, children's deductions, and that's it. Nothing else would interfere with the flat tax concept. Even investment income that you would have from interest or dividends or things of that nature, that wouldn't be impacted by that. That would be yours to keep, and away you would go. The simplicity of these proposals always strikes the fancy of the public because of the exercise we go through each March and April to fill our taxes out with all these complicated forms. And it does seem to have an awful lot of appeal, but the government uses the tax structure in so many ways to not only stimulate the economy, but to stimulate parts of the economy, either by depreciation tax credits or things of that nature, that I just can't see the Congress ever going along with doing something like this, and I can't see any administration, regardless of who's in power, to do that. It
takes too much power away from them.
Oh, absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
Pete DuPont, former governor of Delaware, and a very bright fellow,
Yes.
one of the brighter lights in the Republican Party, was on television over the weekend, and somebody called in and said, why don't we just do away with all tax of an income nature and go right to a consumer-type tax,
Sure.
a national sales tax? He said, fine.
Sure.
Do it.
Sure.
Do it. And one of the reasons that they want to do this is the politicians who are in favor of a flat tax would love to get rid of the IRS, and they don't dare say it any other way.
I think that's probably true. I think a lot of people like to get rid of the IRS, go to a VAT, a value-added tax, as is so common in Europe. I guess it's Europe's primary way to raise revenue for their governments. We've never had that. We've had it at the state level with a sales tax that's been bounding around, I guess, the past 10 or 15 years as a way to pay off the debt, using a federal sales tax, if you will, with the proceeds coming in and going to the debt. Now the other concept that Pete DuPont is supporting, obviously, would be a national sales tax, which would do away income tax.
And Senator Lugar, by the way, is also proposing
Oh, sure. Anything that simplifies the existing tax program that we have that is administered by the IRS, everybody's in favor of getting away with it. But again, you come back to the opportunity to stimulate the economy or stimulate certain segments of the economy that the Congress, that the administration has through the existing tax code, and I'm not sure that you want to abandon that. That has some value.
Now, I have the opinion, and have had it for some time, that the Republicans are wasting their time chasing after Hillary Clinton. I don't mean chasing after her sexually. I mean chasing after her politically, because I think she's a little smarter than your average person, and she's probably going to chew them up. Yet, when I made that proposal to Senator Randy Cool the other day on this program, he said, look, I know some of the people doing the investigation with the special prosecutor, and they are going to indict her. He says it's just that simple. Now, that would surprise me. But what if Hillary goes before Congress? Do you agree with me? She'll probably chew them right up.
Oh, I think she will. I think that her handlers and probably she
herself.
herself is
Yeah.
delighted at this. We've mentioned before that she's considered one of the top 10 female lawyers, I guess, in the world, and one of the top 100 lawyers in the world, regardless of what gender you want to look at it. And yeah, she'll eat them up. She'll finally be in the domain that she can control, which is a courtroom type setting. If she's going to be indicted, that really doesn't mean an awful lot in this day and age. Being indicted and being tried and found guilty are two separate poles that many times don't often meet. I really would be surprised if she is to be indicted, but I don't suggest Randy Coll doesn't have some insider information that's probably accurate.
Well, he indicated it was.
Yeah.
He indicated it was insider information, and I was a little surprised because I just figured being the first lady and being a lawyer, it's not going to be easy to get her. But you agree with me that she'll probably chew him right up?
Oh, yeah, I really do.
And will that help her husband's ratings?
Yes, I think it will. I think it will.
What about the other? What if they indict her and it appears to be, or if they just keep pursuing her and it appears to be politically motivated? Will that backfire?
No, I don't. What, backfire on them? Oh, yes. I think definitely it will, because he's certainly going to rally to her defense and stand solidly behind her, which is certainly going to impress the female voters in this country at the loyal and supporting husband standing firmly beside the spouse who is under fire. That's why I say I'd have a hard time conceiving an indictment. I keep going back to the fact this has been going on for 4 years, and every other major scandal that we've had in this country, political scandal we've had in this country, tends to boil up and boil over pretty much within 12 to 18 months, and here we are almost 48 months after this this charge was first leveled, and still we really don't have much in the way of supporting documentation. So I'll be anxious to see her under testimony, under oath, and with her testimony to the hearing committee, and see how.
May I tell you what I find amazing about Bill Clinton? There are two things. One, how he stands in front of the troops with his record. And gets away with it. Now, I read some articles from Bosnia that many of those troops who went out and appeared with him were ordered to do so, and many refused to do so. So he still is not popular with the troops, but he marches down there while the flags are flying, and he's got real men standing on either side of him, and he looks very impressive, and I'm impressed that he does that. I'm serious about that.
Sure.
I took a few shots there, but I'm impressed that he does that. The second thing that impresses me is he's taking on the whole Republican establishment, and there are some smart fellows in that group, and he has put them up against a wall on a balanced budget. They want a balanced budget. The American people want a balanced budget, and he's turned it around to, I think, a $4 difference in Medicaid costs and Medicare costs. $4 difference. And he's made it look like these guys want to kill your children.
That's right.
And he's succeeded. I mean, this is this is a guy, I think, of the magnitude of FDR, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, very clever on his feet. He's a very, very gifted intellectual president. He really is. He understands politics. He understands the science of politics. He understands the public mood. He's a gifted speaker on his feet. He continues to amaze me, and I'm sure this show he'll put on tonight will be a first-rate presentation coming from a president without any oohs or ahs or ums. There'll be no hesitation. It'll look so spontaneous and so natural. He's just a phenomenal communicator that he puts out a statement and people automatically accept it as being true. But you're right, he's turned his critics and he's turned the political establishment right around on its heel and put them right into a corner. He's winning this battle of the
That's right, and he's going up against some rather bright guys.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. It's interesting to me to see what Senator Bob Dole is doing now. He's staying away from all of the commotion caused by the debate on the budget. He's answering any questions with very short sentences, not very many words. He's trying to keep a sense of humor in all of us to try to stay away from all of it, because I think he understands that the president has won this battle hands down. And the matter is just going to resolve right now, I think, as to what the timing is, as to when the announcement is going to come, as to when the balanced budget is going to work its way through. But one of the nice things about it is we're finally going to have a balanced budget. I think that's the positive of all of this debate. It's going to be done.
You think the Republicans will win that part, even though they're going to take a loss on everything else?
I really think that Clinton and the Republicans will reach a compromise, whether it be 7 years or 8 years or so on, but we will eventually have a balanced budget, and I think that will be the first major step toward getting this country back on some kind of responsible fiscal budgeting.
All right, we're going to take a break here. We're talking with Ed Coll, president of Alpha University, right back after this.
The January motion sale at Smith's Furniture Manor in Canisteo means low sale prices on great action furniture by Lane, which means big savings for you. Choose from sectionals, reclining sofas, sleep sofas, and a great new mid-size sofa, the Studio Sofa, with all the comfort of a full-size sofa, starting as low as $698. Even those great action rockers, wall saver, chaise, heat, and massage recliners are on sale. Chair prices start at just $248. A sleeper sofa is always handy when guests arrive, and right now at Smith's, you can get a sleep sofa for as little as $548. It's the January motion sale at Smith's Furniture Manor, featuring action furniture by Lane, recliners to sectionals, and everything in between at great sale prices. And Smith's will deliver, set up, and take away your old furniture free. Smith's Furniture Manor, Canasteel. A good place to buy now for less.
This cold weather snap, there's two things you don't want to be without: heat and water. If your pipes freeze or your furnace goes on the blink, who will you call for fast, reliable, experienced service? Maine Plumbing and Heating. That's right. Their trained workmen come to you with stocked trucks, ready and able to get things running smoothly again. Pipes frozen? No problem. Call Maine Plumbing and Heating. Furnace trouble? Again, no problem. Their heating experts are standing by with a full supply of heating supplies and parts to do the job right. Perhaps your relationship with your old furnace isn't what it used to be. Maine Plumbing and Heating and American Standard have been in business together for more than 25 years. With a relationship like that, you know you're getting reliability and experience. So now, when you experience problems with plumbing or heating, breathe a little easier and call Maine Plumbing and Heating at 324-6681. 324-6681. Keep that number handy just in case.
Okay, who emerges then? The Republicans seem a little bit less than enthusiastic about nominating Bob Dole because they think Clinton will clean him up in a debate, which he probably will. But who's out there? Are you caught up in this Steve Forbes boomlet going on now, or do you think it's going to be?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think he's going to do it?
I don't think he's going to do it. He may end up as one of the vice presidential candidates for.
That would be a good one because you have a lot of money there.
Oh yeah, he certainly would.
That would give Dole all kinds of money.
I think it'll boil down to either Dole or Graham. I think that Phil Graham has some really first-rate handlers who are moving him along. But I continue to think Bob Dole is going to be the candidate, and I continue to think that Colin Powell has to play a role in this if the Republicans are to have any chance in winning.
Okay, most people believe that Dole can't beat Clinton because Clinton will clean him up in a debate. On the other hand, Dole's been around a long, long time. His trouble is he's got kind of a mean streak.
He does.
And it shows. When he's under a little pressure, it shows. It showed in the Iowa caucus. If he did that with the President of the United States, I think that would be curtains for him. What about Graham? Now, here's what Charles Black said. He's his campaign manager. He said, you can play all the media games you want, and you can play all the polls you want, but the fact of the matter is that by the end of March, he'll have more delegates than Dole. And he said, the only thing we're worried about, this is Black speaking,
Sure.
is that the media will nominate Dole, and anything we do will be, just superfluous.
Water over the dam, sure.
Raises a couple of interesting questions. Is the media really picking our presidential candidates for us, and we're just being pawns in their little game, or are we still having something to say about all this?
No, I think Bill Clinton is a graphic example of the media picking the candidate. How many people picked Bill Clinton at this stage of the last election? Not very many.
No.
But the media got on his bandwagon because he's attractive. He's
Their kind of guy.
Yeah, their kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to tackle the issues. He's literate, as we talked about before. He knows how to get a point across. Sure, I think the media clearly is.
Well, that's one of the interesting things about this whole Whitewater thing that some people are pointing out, that the liberal media is now leading the charge on Whitewater, and they're doing it out of a sense of guilt. They let it go by in '92, and now they're the ones leading the charge. I'm not sure if I see that, but if that were true, could that be a case where they could bring him down too?
Well, it could. I'm not sure I see that either.
I don't either. I don't see it. No.
No, I don't buy into that concept of the liberal press doing that. Not at all. I think they've pretty much maintained an arm's length relationship with this whole thing, and have tried to keep him away from some of the suggestions of guilt. I think this is a conservative political issue, period.
Mm. Interesting poll last week. New Yorkers on Pataki. He has the support of only 40%. Bill Clinton on New Yorkers, 56% against Bob Dole's 23%. Is New York just going to be forever and always until the second coming a liberal state?
Oh, I think so. Oh, sure. I don't think it's ever going to change. I don't think that's the nature of this state to be anything but a very liberal state, particularly the downstate population.
It's not around here.
Oh, no, not at all around here, but
Yeah.
particularly the downstate population has always had that culture of an ultra-liberal political base, and I just don't think it's ever going to change.
What about Pataki now? He said 40%, and yet a majority of New Yorkers think New York is moving in the right direction. Well, to whom do they credit that?
I really was surprised that his approval rate was that high.
Yeah.
I think he is doing the right things. I think we're all feeling some pain and suffering from what he's doing, but I think it has to be done. As I've said before on the program, I've criticized him for the way he's gone about doing it and the fact that he really hasn't put his own people in there as quickly and as timely as he should have to start getting the job done. But even though education has taken it on the chin in the governor's efforts to get the state's finances under control, I really have no argument with what he has to do or what he's doing. Governor Cuomo clearly used the smoke and mirrors and got the state's finances so out of whack that somebody has to come in with a pretty strong iron fist and get the thing straightened out. And I think he's on the right track, but I really was surprised his approval rate was as high as it was at 40%.
The funny thing is, if you talk to conservative Republicans in Albany about who was the best governor in the last 30 years, you would expect them to say, even though they are conservatives, Nelson Rockefeller. Their answer is almost unanimous: Hugh Carey. Hugh Carey was the only guy who really dared to be conservative fiscally.
Right.
And he didn't last long enough to do it. And then Cuomo just kind of was a Rockefeller type, spend. And they feel that somebody like Pataki is necessary.
Absolutely.
Whether you call him Pataki or Smith, somebody's got to do it.
I agree with you. I don't disagree with that at all. And I think he'll get a second term, too.
You do?
Oh, yeah, I do. I really do. I think by the time the elections come around for the state governorship, I think the people will be able to see some light, that proverbial light at the end of the tunnel, and that they'll understand what it is he's trying to do. And I think he'll have more confidence in himself as a governor. So, yeah, I think that he'll be around for a while.
Okay, so let me review. The flat tax won't happen. Hillary Clinton will clean him up.
All right.
Dole will be nominated. Graham will be his main opponent. Clinton is taking Congress, and I agree with you on actually almost everything you've said. In fact, I can't think of one thing I haven't agreed with. I think Clinton will be reelected.
I do, too.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much, President Edward Coll, for being with us this morning on the Newsmaker program.
Thank you, Kevin.